From various research, we know quite well that the environment inside and outside of forests can provide some really substantial livelihood benefits to rural households in developing countries. And while we have tested some methods on how to measure these socioeconomic benefits in case studies, they have not really entered national surveys, which are being used to measure GDP, make policies and development plans, etc. So we have been facing a gap of scaling up.
This forestry module is meant to cover the data gaps that Sven just mentioned, if countries choose to implement it. The module complements other agricultural modules being developed under the LSMS program of the World Bank. It targets primarily national statistics agencies, but is adaptable to other circumstances and user needs.
We had 2 years of excellent collaborative work with the 5 institutions, which were represented by a steering group. The steering group guided the Sourcebook development in 2 phases. This Sourcebook contains detailed survey modules and guidance for collecting socioeconomic data, both at household and community level. These survey modules have been tested in Indonesia and Tanzania. They are being tested now in Nepal.
Users of the Sourcebook with specific interests can select the corresponding parts of the questionnaires to collect the information they want. The 4 core chapters of the Sourcebook provide context and specificities of the forest sector and guide users on how to make the modules operational. The separate forestry modules have 13 key themes, and many lessons from previous socioeconomic surveys and pilot testing of the modules have already been integrated into the Sourcebook.
For the Indonesian pilot testing, the surveys worked well, except for some questions related to complex concepts like ecosystem services and climate change. These were a bit challenging. But the data that we collected was detailed and robust, and will clearly be very useful when scaled up to the national level.
We used the improved questionnaires based on the experience from Indonesia. We found that most of the questions worked really well. We had a few challenges around collecting information on community benefits from forest programs, as well as around environmental services. We worked on improving those during the Tanzania pilot and found the revised questions provided really important information.
Tablet surveys are underway using FAO free open Forest Connect mobile tool in Nepal.
So we have come all this way, working for almost 2 years, developing and testing new instruments and drafting a new Sourcebook. As challenging and difficult these parts have been, the hardest task starts now, to scale up the uptake of the instrument in future surveys in countries around the world. We in the LSMS will continue working with national statistical agencies around the world to ensure that the instruments become an integral part of our future surveys, particularly in countries where forestry is still an important component in households' livelihoods.
Collaboration between government agencies and especially national statistical offices and forestry departments is crucial for mainstreaming of the forestry module. It also facilitates extending the module's use in the collection of socioeconomic information in upcoming national forest inventories.
As the architects of this Sourcebook, we as a steering group hope to have lots of collaborations of this type, so as to get more complete national economic data and eventually give forests the visibility they rightfully deserve.